What's up, everybody? I am here to do a review on. They have this cool grounding feature, and I'm gonna let you know what I think of them. But first, I wanted to start with a history of my own footwear. Over the years, I've worn fairly flat shoes or no shoes at all. My mom can attest that I went barefoot a lot as a kid. When I was in school, I wore a lot of Converse tennis shoes. I think I had like 8, 9, 10. I've had a lot of pairs over the years. I really liked the Converse tennis shoes. My favorite thing was probably the style of tennis shoe. I wore them a lot. I walked holes through them all the time. And if I had only known then what I know now, I would have never spent $60 on Converse. Outside of that, I had a lot of shoes, but I didn't wear them very often. I had a variety of like sandals and heels and boots. There was this one pair of boots that I used to wear all the time from Amazon, 40 bucks, leather. I got them in brown, I got them in black. I could go with any outfit, and I'd wear them all winter long. So I don't have any of those shoes anymore. So I can't show them to you. But I do have a bunch of shoes here in front of me that I'm gonna kind of walk through, so to speak, walk through my shoe experience. These are the kind of stylish boots and shoes that I would have, you know, where I'd wear them occasionally with the specific outfits or going to an event of some sort. You know, I keep these around because they're the only like stylish shoe really that I have. They're surely uncomfortable, and I will only wear them max a couple hours, and the next time I put them on, I may decide that I don't ever want to wear them again after this journey that I've been through. But in the meantime, I am keeping them on the event that I have to go to a wedding or something like that. Another pair of shoes that I don't wear super often, but every once in a while, is these pair of boots. I wear them for like these work event things that I do like once or twice a year, and they've been really good for protecting my feet in case something falls. They're not like steel toe or anything. They're just a basic shoe from Amazon, but they've been real nice and helpful. Into my adult life, I transitioned into these. I grew up in a pretty warm area, so my young adult life, the area that I lived in, I could get away with these for like 80% of the year. This is my 4th pair. I've walked holes through these as well and walked so much in them that the straps have torn off. I've been taking note of my shoes that I've really come to love over the years and why I love them. This one is not a zero drop shoe, but it is quite flat in comparison to like a tennis shoe. I used to also own a pair of Adidas, and those had a much thicker heel. I think the heel came up to like here. And I loved those for 3 months, and then after that they were no longer comfortable. I met the man of my dreams, and we were getting married, and he was wearing these shoes all the time. He thought for some reason that I would think they're dorky. I didn't think anything of it. I thought they were fine. They looked comfortable, you know, and I was going more towards comfort in that stage of my life as I continue to go for comfort, but balance it with style so that way it doesn't look ridiculous. So he introduced me to Hey Dude. So about that time, shortly after we met, he bought me a pair of Hey Dude, and so I have my very own boat shoes, and I liked them. I think they've been pretty great. They're light. I love that. That's just like, there's like holding nothing, you know, and that has been quite lovely. I don't know what they're made of, but they have been very light on my feet, and they slip on, which is easy. And so I started wearing these a lot more than these. I don't like these. I think have a thicker heel than the sandals. Yeah, they have a little bit thicker heel, and I didn't notice that until my most recent pair of shoes. So I had put them back on recently to slip them on and go outside to do something, and I was like, I don't know about these shoes anymore. So these, I'm getting rid of. I liked the Hey Dude so much because it has a wider toe box than the sandals that I've been wearing. Let's see. It's also a size bigger, which is probably why it has a wider toe box in the first place. But whatever the case, my toes had more room, and so I was just enjoying that and didn't want to go back down to a size smaller shoe. So I went back to the same place I got the Hey Dudes. It's the Sierra Trading Post, and I bought these basic High Sierra sandals. I've not worn them enough to really give them a chance. I went bigger so that way I could have the widest available toe box. but I also got it with adjustable straps for when I go out adventuring, hikes and the beach, camping. And then I just kept these around for if I wanted to dress my feet up just a little bit nicer. In this aspiration of wanting to find better shoes for my feet, I decided that I wanted a pair of barefoot shoes, but I couldn't afford them because they're ridiculously expensive. So we had some old leather that I had scavenged from a couch that we got rid of because we bought this thing behind me. It was on sale, Big Lots, and I think it was on sale. It might not have been on sale. Don't quote me on that. But we wanted to buy a new couch that was not as wide as the couch we had in here before. So we bought this one because it was a little narrow and we can technically both fit in it. And so we were like, it'll save space. Now it's really mostly just my husband's chair. But in the meantime, you know, we had to get rid of the couch that we were replacing with it. And it technically squeezed it in the sliding glass door in the hallway when I first moved the couch in here, but it didn't really fit and I kind of scratched up the wall. I told my husband, I said, this couch is like really old, so we can completely tear it apart to get it out the door. I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna be all hurt. It was really old and I certainly wouldn't want to have passed it down to anybody. So we whipped out the chainsaw and we totally just cut that couch. But the back part of the couch was leather and it was like untouched because nobody sits on the back of the couch. So I scavenged all of the back part of the couch and I made shoes out of it. So this part is like 4 pieces of the leather stitched together with another piece here and another piece here. And then I just had like some wax covered cotton thread that I got from Hobby Lobby. And then I got a yoga mat for the bottom, and they're not finished. I don't wear them very much because I'm literally walking holes through them, and then I've worn them to the mailbox and back, which is not really, this shouldn't look like this for one trip to the mailbox. So I need a rubber sole for the bottom. I was trying to make them grounding. I still probably will. So they have like these metal rivets, but I need a piece of like car mat that I need to scavenge at some point to finish them. In the meantime, they're just kind of in limbo of I'm keeping these, but I don't wear them. I like them. I think they're cool and I can't wait to wear them all the time. Then my husband wanted to surprise me for my birthday, and so he took me to not a shoe place, but it was this place up in the mountains that has shoes, and they had a lot of like leather shoes and boots, and he surprised me so we could get slippers because I wanted a pair of slippers because my old pair I'd walked holes through. They were thin, cheap, Amazon, and he wanted to buy me some quality slippers. So we got Minnetonka, and so they've got like a nice thick rubber sole. They're gonna last forever, and if they ever do, you know, wear down, I'll get a pair of barefoot slippers, but in the meantime these will do. And I did like I did with the sandals, right? I bought a size 9 so that way there's plenty of room in the toe box. Now with the slippers, that's been a little tricky because my feet do slip out of them a lot easier. So maybe I should have gotten an 8. But I really didn't want to compromise on the toe box thing. I wanted there to be room for my toes. And so outside of these and these, I'm barefoot 90% of the time. So I went to go put on my Adidas because I needed a pair of tennis shoes. It was finally a season where I can wear some tennis shoes to go out and do stuff in the yard, you know? So I was like, let's do this. Well, my Adidas didn't fit my feet because my feet have been spreading out from being barefoot all winter. I had to get rid of them. So I saved up. I can't remember how long it took me. And I think these were like $90, $80 or $90. I can't remember. But I purchased these as my new tennis shoe, you know, no thick sole or anything, you know, they're 0 drop. They're thicker than probably your average barefoot shoe, which is fine for me since I've never done true barefoot shoes before. This is kind of like my transition shoe, if you will. The barefoot community, there seems to be a lot of people who think that these are too tight on the toe box to be true barefoot shoes. And other people, you know, describe the sole as too thick to be barefoot shoes. And maybe that's true, but I've never had barefoot shoes before, so I used these as like a transition shoe into the barefoot world. Okay, so this is the step that I'm at. And I love these shoes. I wear them every time I go outside, unless it needs to be real quick, then I'll wear these. But, you know, if I've got time to slip these on, which I don't even really tie them, except occasionally when they come untied, I don't wear socks with them. I'd say that makes them really breathable, but there are occasions that I want to take them off when I'm sitting in the car, and I think it's because my feet feel sweaty, but I'm not sure. I've not paid super close attention to why I do that, but I just don't want to wear them when I'm sitting in the car or sitting in a house for more than 20 minutes. They come off my feet. I just like being barefoot. Let's be honest. The thing I don't like about being barefoot is going out onto the rocks. I'll walk on dirt and grass and concrete barefoot, no problem. But the minute somebody's, you know, decorative rock out in the front yard comes into play, I don't want to walk on rock. My dog doesn't want to walk on rocks barefoot. I don't want to walk on rocks barefoot. So I put these on because that's what we have right outside our door. So if I want to get anywhere, to the car, to the house, to the garage, to the mailbox, I gotta walk through rock. So this is my shoe to make sure that I'm not staying barefoot. Plus, when it gets real hot in the summer, I don't want to be on the concrete either. Maybe my feet will beef up by then, maybe not. So this is my shoe journey, and this is my review of these shoes in particular. I like them, and I think anybody who is thinking about barefoot shoes and wants to test the waters, if you're already used to wearing flat shoes in general like I was, these are a good start. I mean, they're comfortable. They won't feel like you've done any transitioning really, except letting your toes be free a little bit more, because the toe box is so much wider. That's the wrong shoe. Hold on, let me get the right shoe. The toe box is, okay, it's slightly wider. Maybe it's not a whole lot wider. There is milliliters. Like inside the shoe, I know that I've got more room for my toe than this sandal allows me. And that's why I don't wear the sandal anymore. I wore it once last week and I was not jazzed. I was not jazzed about the sandal. So, Flux Knit trainers. That's my transition shoe. For me, it works for me because I have super narrow feet. If you've already got wide feet, probably these are not the shoe for you. But if you have narrow feet and you're just starting to let your toes stretch, this works, especially if you're already used to flat shoes. That would be my recommendation also for anybody who wants to transition to barefoot shoes. Like, get used to walking everywhere barefoot first before considering a pair of shoes for it. Because if you can't stand on your feet for long periods of time while not wearing shoes, you're not going to be able to handle these, you know? It makes sense to me. So yeah, these shoes, real cool. I like them. So they are also supposed to be, grounding. I can't remember if I mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but these are supposed to be grounding, and this is something that I've, probably not super obvious, this is something that I've really been interested in. I've tried putting tape on these sandals to try and make them grounding, but I used them so much that all the tape came off. And then I made these so they would be grounding, and then these come grounding. Now there's not a lot of barefoot shoes out there that come grounding. There's a couple brands out there, but not a lot. So I won't be able to get that on all of the shoes that I invest in the future. But for these, it works out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with them. And I expect to feel good because of it. Now, I mostly endorse barefoot. And the indoors that I have is not grounded at all. So I really don't get a whole lot of grounding in that I would like, but I'm about to move and maybe I'll have more access to like lawns and stuff where I'm going. So this should be good for that if I'm walking through the grass. And I can finally start grounding more, because I love grounding. You know, I used to live at a trailer park where we'd walk our dog to the dog park and I'd hold the tree and just hold the tree while, you know, the dog is doing his thing. And I could feel a visible difference then than I do now not doing it at all. Because I don't ground at all. And I think there's a difference. I think I feel better when I actively do it on a regular basis. There's been a couple times I'll walk all the way out to where there's some dirt on the other side of the rock, and I'll take my shoes off and I'll just let my feet sit in the sand. I've not done it very much though. But anyway, so that is my review for these cool shoes. Also this color. I love this color. I'm so glad they had a tan. It's basic and it's very, you know, reminiscent of a Converse tennis shoe, just a little bit wider. Your basic laced shoe. It doesn't have like the special rubber toe, but I don't know. It does the trick, you know? It's a good shoe. I kind of want a second pair. But I have too many shoes already. So outside of this, the only other pair of shoes that I've got is this pair of snow boots that are size 10. They're plenty wide. They were handed down from somebody else. And so they're wider because they're bigger, because they're size 10 and I'm a size 7. I'm a size 7, but I bought these in a size 8 and I wish I would have gotten an 8.5. So I was basing it off the length of my foot, not the width, because I don't know about the width of my foot. But the length of my foot is an 8, I would say. But an 8.5 would have given my toes just a little bit more space. So yeah, I'm gonna try and really look at the measurements of the shoe again. I did when I ordered these. I looked at the measurements really good to make sure they would fit my feet, and they do fit my feet, which is why I wear them so much. But I wouldn't have hated if they were half a size bigger, because they're this knit fabric. My toes kind of can stretch it, and it's not as big a deal. So that is my comment on the sizing and the breathability. There's this texture thing on the inside as well that is fun. I'll be honest, I don't notice it. I noticed it when I first put them on. I'm like, ooh, ah, you know, and I've seen a lot of commercials where like, do you want a foot massage when you wear these? I don't think it massages my feet, but it's nice when I first put them on, and when I scratch it with my fingers, it's fun, but I don't notice it while I'm wearing them, I'll be honest. So anyway, there's my review.